Pop the Bing Tim Martin. You know, the microwave king of the fake pub chain. Weatherspoons. Well, he's been taking a bit of old jibe, he has, at those who've decided they're going to do a New Year's resolution and we're going to have a dry January. Obviously, it's affecting Tim Martin's bottom line. Yeah, well, never mind. And then you got Brewdog. Well, they're getting in the neck just recently. That they are, yes. Brewdog faces staff backlash after dropping a real living wage pledge. Now, I suppose we have to accept if a business is making no money, there's no money to pay people. And if you've pushed a company into administration, there'll be no business anyway. Now, Brewdog has been suffering since Brexit. Now, James Watt, the CEO of Brewdog, who's the one who's been getting it in the neck regarding this latest decision, he said back in, I think it was July last year, yes it was, yeah, James Watt said Brexit is an unmitigated disaster and it's impacted their ability to get the raw ingredients, what have you, but also to export their beer. So their profit margins have come down because the turnover's come down, as well. It's about efficiencies in the business. But now they've decided, after the announcement by the government to increase the living wage as well, to say, sorry, we're going to have to, go back on our pledge. So Brewdog is facing anger from its employees after dropping out of the accredited so-called living real wage or real living wage scheme, hiring new staff on legal minimum instead. So just the legal minimum wage, which what they didn't anticipate when they made the pledge, that the last budget, they said that the minimum wage was going up. These companies, they plan ahead, you see. And then all of a sudden, another curveball gets chucked in the mix, like Brexit, or like the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, doing his flippin' trickery. So, in a letter seen by The Guardian, the brewer and bar operator, which is best known for its Punk IPA beer, said that new workers were being hired on the legal minimum wage of $10.42 an hour for those aged 23 and over. And this is below the independently verified living wage of $10.90 that is existing staff get. So those going for new jobs at Brewdog are going to be paid on, be paid less money, pretty much. Now, as somebody who's been in business pretty much for most of my life and had to balance the books, I had people work for me, you see. It ain't easy sometimes, and you have to take the rough with the smooth. Sometimes you have, your profit margin, I'm talking medium to large, not large business, sort of small to medium enterprises. Sometimes your profit margins are up there, next minute they're down there. You don't know where you are half the time, especially when someone keeps throwing curveballs in. And don't forget, we just had the pandemic as well. So you've got Brexit, the pandemic, the cost of energy, everything going through the roof, the establishments, everything becoming more expensive. Now we're seeing businesses fail one after the other. Even Rally have decided, Rally Bikes, they've recently decided that we are no longer going to have a parts division in the UK. Everything's been imported. And then, they've also, years ago now, they don't make bikes anymore. Well, they don't, they just import everything. And you've got Orange Bikes, they've gone under. You've got KTM Bikes, they've gone under. And a few others I've actually talked about in the past, can't remember their names now. But, they're failing one after the other. One business after the other. Failing because of a variety of different reasons. We've got farmers who, quite frankly, not vote for Brexit, but, they're committing suicide. They're so depressed. Because they've got massive debts. Those tractors aren't cheap, So they've got huge flipping debts. Some of them on zero interest, to be fair. But, it's the pressure. People are suffering. And a lot of it is out of our control. Out of the government's control, even. But what isn't out of the government's control is help. And this government does not. We saw that during the pandemic regarding small to medium enterprises or self-employed people. They got no help. If you started a business you didn't have a full year's worth of accounts, well then you got nothing. No help at all. You just had to struggle. Yet the government was imposing the rules that prevented you from working. Well, I had a similar problem here in France. Although our government did help, but they were still based on your previous year's income. So basically based on what you'd be losing. So, people who didn't have that, have any accounts for the 12 months previous were scuppered here as well in France. It wasn't just the UK. Some people say, well, the government can't help everybody. It needs to. It has to. Otherwise, you're going to have a load of people unemployed. Now, we had the boom after the pandemic. I think it was in July time. All of a sudden, people were spending more money. And then it just dropped off just like that. And it's gone down ever since. Everything's becoming more expensive. There's we've got 108... 1.8 million job losses in the UK. This last year. It's just, everything it's just a mess. The whole lot's a mess. So businesses like Brewdog, they've made a difficult decision and his staff don't like it and people are probably going to boycott the bars because of it. How's that going to help the company to recover and actually reconsider paying more wages? These aren't big. We're not talking about BP or Shell, are we? We're not talking about Tesco's or Asda or these great big multinationals. No, we're talking about small to medium enterprises. You still employ a fair amount of people, but when they get hit hard to the point where they have to call in administrators. It's a fact of life, you see. Now, my son, who worked with me for a while, and he said to me, Dad, I didn't realise how difficult it is. In my company. He didn't realise how hard it was. No wonder I was always stressed. It was tough. It's tough running a business. So do I feel for James Watt? Yes, I do. Do I think he deserves the criticism? Maybe. What say you? Please leave in the comments down below. We always blame the flipping businesses, don't we? And the employers. It's not always the case. No two employees are the same, just like landlords. They're not all the same. They're not. Anyway, it's time for me to go. So toodaloo, if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee. But also, we're doing a rewilding here in France. And we are now planting again. All those flipping rain at the moment. We're planting trees. So we're planting 1,000 trees, at least. It's probably going to be more than that looking at it. On 2 hectares of land. And I'm making signs to go with the actual trees. But also, I've now got another device now as well. So we can also put a little message on. I've got a laser engraver, which was donated to me, sponsored via my other woodworking channel, Wally Bois. And we can put the messages on the actual signs as well. So we make the signs more compact. So if you want to be a part of that, there's a GoFundMe link down below, where basically you can buy a tree, and we'll plant a tree on your behalf, and I'll make a sign to go with the tree, and it could be a memory of a loved one, or a pet, or whatever. Or it could just be your name, or it could be your alias, your avatar even. Oh, anyway. That's a really good idea. Might even be able to, if you've got an avatar, like a character or an icon, I might be able to add it on as well. Anyway, it's time for me to go. So toodaloo, toodaloo.